Silver! Away!
Fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo, Silver, the Lone Ranger. During the years of unrest that followed the Civil War, a powerful secret organization called the Legion of the Black Arrow sprang up in the western United States. Its members were to be found everywhere, defying the law or using the law for their own purposes, working toward the ultimate goal of revolt and the foundation of a despotic empire. It was the masked rider of the plains who led the fight against this band of outlaws and traitors, and for once his great strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness were taxed to the utmost in the cause of democracy. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of a great horse, Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! Run the trail of the Black Arrow! Well, Silver! Away!
A shouting, brawling mass of men milled around a clapboard house on the outskirts of Santos. Some of them held flaming torches to light up the night. Others flourished 6 guns, fired shots in the air. All of them were in an ugly mood as they threatened Judge Davis.
Davis, you're all washed up. You're no longer judge of the county of Santos. We're going to ride you out of town on a rail. Isn't that right, boys? All right. As soon as Burr Caden gets here with a barrel, we're going to tar and feather you. Maybe we'll burn your house to the ground and serve you right. Isn't that so, boys? Yeah. We had a stomach full of your type of justice, and we don't like it.
Braden, you talk mighty big when you have a mob to back you up.
That's it.
I said you...
Quiet, gents. The judge has something to say. Quiet down. Let's listen to him. Go ahead, Davis. This time we're doing the judging. And we know in advance what the verdict's going to be. Go ahead. The condemned man makes a final statement.
It looks like you've convicted me ahead of time.
That's so.
One thing I never did in my court, Braden. I took an oath of office, and by heaven I held to that oath. There was never a case come up before me, whether for rustling or cattle stealing or non-payment of debts or even shooting, where I didn't keep an open mind and judge according to the facts of the case.
What about Lem Wilkins and his water
The same holds true for Lem Wilkins and his water rights. I'm a judge, duly elected and sworn to judge honest and fearless.
You ain't going to be a judge for long, Davis. We aim to correct that.
With tar and feathers.
Correct. You look like a black crow before we're through, Davis.
Well, so be it. That's the way it's to be, then so be it. You can work your will with me. You're a mob. You act like a mob. I'm just one man. I'm a lot older than you gents, but I'd say this to you. I've been honest and foursquare, and judged without fear or favor.
Judge not, lest ye be judged.
Yes, that's just it. I say the same to you. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Put your tar and feathers on me. Ride me out of Santos on a rail. It won't hurt me, because I know I'm in the right. For every bit of tar you put on my skin, you'll be putting blackness and wrongdoing in your hearts. The tar will wash off my skin, but you'll never wash the shame of this off your hearts. or off the good name of the town of Santos.
You always were mighty slick at slinging words around, Judge. But it doesn't alter the facts. You let Lem Wilkins close off the water we all need, and we aim to teach you a lesson. Tie him up, boys!
The men surged forward. Judge Davis made no attempt to struggle against them. In the light of the flaring torches, his thin, lined face was calm under his graying hair as his arms were seized and bound, while from the open door of the darkened house his wife watched and sobbed.
They've got him tied up, tied and bound like a loco steer. They got no right to treat Jed so mean. He's honest and good.
Mrs. Davis, don't be alarmed. I'm a friend.
A woman? Who are you? Your voice doesn't sound like any folk I know.
Who I am doesn't matter. What does matter is that I believe your husband is in the right.
Oh, it's good to hear someone besides myself say that. Let me strike a light.
No light. There's no need for you to know who I am. Only don't despair. Your husband hasn't been tarred and feathered yet, and perhaps he won't be.
What can we do to prevent it?
We can do nothing. But there's someone else who can. Someone who's been warned, who's riding here. When he comes...
One man he couldn't help.
This man can. He's different from other men. He's stronger and braver. No matter what the odds, he faces them without fear. Look for a masked man, Mrs. Davis.
A masked man?
Yes, masked and riding a great white stallion. And when he arrives, give him this message. Tell him it's the Black Arrow. The Black Arrow, tell him that. He'll understand. And now, I must go. Try not to worry. Nothing will happen to your husband.
Wait. She's gone. I never even saw her face. And what she said about a masked man and a black arrow, I must have been dreaming.
It's Cadden, boys! Here he comes with a barrel of tar!
Cadden. Spur Cadden. That's him riding toward them. Got a barrel of tar strapped behind his saddle, most likely. Spur Cadden. They're going to tar and feather my husband. And I almost believed that girl. I almost believed her when she told me that fairy tale about a masked man bringing help.
Braden and the mob clustered close around the judge, waiting eagerly for Spur Cadden to ride into the circle of torchlight so they could start the tar and feather party.
This way, Spur! Come a-riding, boy! We got the judge hog-tied and ready to paint! Clear the way, Judge! Give Spur a little room to get by! That's it!
Whoa, Silver!
What blazes? He's a stranger!
That isn't Spur, he's masked.
A masked man!
Outlaw!
Where'd he come from?
You, untie that man.
Mister, you talking to me?
Get busy.
Well, if that don't singe the whiskers off a coyote. A masked man riding in here and starting to hand out orders. Where's Spur Cadden?
You might say Cadden was detained, Braden. I took his place.
Yeah? Well, mister, if this here's a joke, you picked the wrong time to do it. Rush him, boys! Rush him and throw a rope over him,
The first man who tried will wish he hadn't.
All right, gents. I'll lead the way. Go for your guns, mister, because mine will start smoking inside. Oh!
That's better. Anyone else ready to shoot it out?
Did you see that? Knocked Braden's gun out of his hand before it was halfway from the holster. And Braden's supposed to have the fastest draw in the territory.
Now, Braden, take the ropes off this man. Do as I tell you, or must
No, mister, I'll do it. My hand.
Your hand isn't hurt. I hit your gun.
I'm getting the ropes off. There.
Mister, whoever you are, I thank you. Not for myself, but that you saved these men from resorting to mob violence.
Can you mount behind my saddle? Silver can easily carry double.
I reckon I can, mister.
Adios, Braden. You may hear from me again.
Judge Davis and a masked outlaw. I reckon that's a good combination, isn't it, gents?
Hold on, Judge. We're traveling. All right, Silver.
Look out, mister. Braden's got another gun.
Well, I'll be doggone. The masked man did it again. You better give up, Braden. That hombre can outshoot you any time. I wonder who he was.
Who's that? Speak or...
Me Tonto. Me friend. You, Mrs. Davis.
An Indian.
Me bring message from masked man and your husband.
Oh, Indian, are they safe? Is Jed...
You not worry. Judge him all right. Masked friend sent Tonto to tell you that.
I never saw anything like the way that masked man faced down that mob. The girl was right. There's no one like him in the West.
Huh? What that you say? What girl?
I was here in the cabin, Injun. She spoke to me from the darkness. I never saw her face. She told me to stop fretting that the masked man had saved Jed.
What else girl say?
Well, you sound plumb interested, Injun.
What else girl say?
Well, nothing much. Only she said to tell the masked man that it was the Black Arrow.
Black Arrow.
Yes, does that mean something particular?
That's plenty important.
You got horse you ride.
Yes, I got a horse. Had him all saddled and ready. I figured maybe Jed might be wanting him.
Now, we go quick. You get horse. We ride to your husband and masked friend.
I got him hitched around on this side of the house.
Scout, you come.
Here he is. Steady, boy.
Oh, Scout. Oh, feller.
Is it far to travel, Injun?
Not far. You come with Tonto. Lone Ranger ain't hear what girl say to you.
Lone Ranger? Land of living, Injun. Is that who the masked man is, the Lone Ranger?
That's right. Now we go fast. Get him up, Scout.
Get up. Come on.
I tell you, it's as true as we're sitting here, Braden. I don't know who that masked man is.
Tied you up on the trail, didn't he?
Why, sure. I was heading from the store in Sanders here to Davis's place with a barrel of tar. Then a rope drops over my shoulders. I'm yanked off my horse, and before I savvy what's up,
Yeah,
why,
you're tied and bound and left beside the road where I found you. A fine night's work.
Well, you didn't do so good yourself, Braden.
That's enough out of you, Spur. If you want to keep on being a member of the Black Arrow, you'll keep your tongue civil.
Just
and
because we got tattoo marks on our wrist don't mean that you can trample all over me.
You take an exception to it, Spur? If so, draw your shooting irons.
Take it easy.
That's more like it. Don't hanker to raise a ruckus with me, do you?
Forget it. I guess I was sort on the prod, but what's it all about? What's this here masked man got to do?
Braden, I don't want to be disturbed. Oh, it's you, Red.
Braden, I got news.
You better have. I left you to keep an eye on the Davis house, and now you're back here.
Braden, that masked hombre is the Lone Ranger.
What's that you say?
The Lone Ranger? Well, no wonder he took care of
You
things.
certain of this, Red? You ain't been chewing loco weed?
Proof positive, Braden. I heard the Injun tell Mrs. Davis so.
What Injun?
The Injun the masked man sent to fetch her. Rode a paint horse. I always hear tell that the Lone Ranger had an Injun pard who rode a paint.
Come on, Red. There's something else.
Yeah, Mrs. Davis said she had a message for the masked man. All she said was 3 words. But it was like the Injun sat on a cactus plant. He got that excited.
What 3 words?
The Black Arrow. Yeah, I was close enough to hear her. She said the Black Arrow. What's that mean, Braden?
Shut up.
Has it got anything to do with that tattoo mark in your left wrist, Braden?
I said shut up.
Well, you don't have to jump down my throat. I just happened to spot that tattoo mark on your wrist the other night.
You can forget about it pronto. Means nothing to you, and let it keep on that way. Do what I tell you and ask no questions, savvy?
Why, yeah, Braden, Keno.
Then answer me. Which way did that engine go?
Him and Mrs. Davis sloped off east.
Can you trail them?
I reckon so.
Never mind reckoning, can you?
They didn't try to hide their trail. The ground was soft. Sure I can.
Keno, wait outside. Buy a drink at the bar while you're waiting.
Say, thanks. I'll be ready. Say, this isn't so good, Braden. The Lone Ranger learned that we were behind all this
Not
ruckus.
so good. That's putting it mild. The whole scheme's ruined. We work out a slick plan to start the town folks fighting among themselves. We even wangle things so's Judge Davis, the one strong force for law and order, will be put out of town. We get it all figured, so's we can move in and take over the running of the town, and what happens?
The Lone Ranger. Braden, if there was only some way to get rid of him...
By thunder the whisper. There is a way. There is. Red, come here.
What do you want?
Red, get on your horse. Trail that engine till you get to the masked man. Tell him there's going to be trouble at Lem Wilkins' place tomorrow night.
Tell him.
Go on. They won't suspect you're in with me. You stayed in the background of that crowd. Now, go on.
I'm traveling, Braden.
There you are, Spur. Can you figure out what I got in mind? Huh?
I savvy, Braden. It means the end of the Lone Ranger, don't it?
So it does, Spur. So it does.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. Tonto had brought Mrs. Davis to the Lone Ranger with her message, and all of them made camp for the night. Early the following morning, the judge was going over his story once more.
It's just about the way it was, mister. Lem Wilkins cut off the water that started on his land. He's brought to court, and because I ruled he had the right to cut it off, I was almost tarred and feathered.
Are the people usually that excited?
Oh, land sakes, no, mister. Most always they're law-abiding.
Well, this was a big thing, though, Hannah. You got to remember that. Besides, men like Braden and Spur got people all roused up about it.
Braden and Spur. They haven't been here long?
Oh, about a month, that's all. But when folks are wrought up like they are about my water rights decision, they'll follow anyone who leads them.
Braden and Cadden are two snakes, that's what.
There's one thing, Judge Davis.
What's that?
I thought no one could cut off a stream that other people depended on.
Well, that's so. But this case was different. You see, there wasn't any water when Wilkins bought the land.
Oh, there wasn't?
No. He drilled a well, opened up a spring so the water poured forth into a stream. So it was his to dam up if he wanted to.
And the worst of it was he borrowed money from all the folks around to dig for that water. They expected a share in it, but it wasn't put in writing, so nothing could be done about it.
I gather Mr. Wilkins isn't very popular.
Masked man, he and I are leading the race for the most hated man in Santos. But what else could I do? It's the law.
Things may yet work out, Judge.
I wish I could believe so.
Oh, there's no need to say that when we know different, masked man. You've helped us, you and Tonto, and so has that girl. Though I don't rightly understand what she meant by that Black Arrow talk. But Jed can never go back to Santos, never. It'd be plumb suicidal.
We'll see. What happened last night has already been averted. Perhaps the future can be cared for as well. You see, we... Yes? What is it, Tonto?
Rider on horse, one man.
Heading this way. Judge, you and Mrs. Davis wait here. Get your horse, Tonto. We'll ride out to meet him. Steady, Silver. This is far enough, Tonto. You're looking for someone?
Oh, there, boy. Howdy, masked man. I was looking for you. Just you and the engine keep peaceable.
You won't be harmed. You were following the trail Tonto left, weren't you?
Yes, sir, I was.
Why you do that?
Engine, I was on my way to tell Mrs. Davis something last night, and I saw her riding away with you.
What were you going to tell Mrs. Davis?
Well, sir, I saw what happened last night when you saved the judge. If I'd have been as brave as you, that's exactly what I'd have tried to do. But well, I
got to the point.
There's going to be more trouble tonight.
What kind of trouble? Where?
At Lem Wilkins' place. The same kind of trouble that you stopped last night. And, mister, I don't hold with that sort of thing, so I'm telling you so maybe you can stop it. I'm not much on the use of force myself, but at least I can tell you.
What time tonight?
I don't know.
Who's behind it?
I don't know that either. Folks are riled up.
What makes you so nervous?
Why shouldn't I be nervous, mister? Sentiments against what I'm doing. If it was found out that I told you, I'd be tarred and feathered, too.
Oh, you can tell me
I told all I'm going to. Used up all the nerve I had. Now I'm bidding you adios.
Oh, wait.
No, sir, not me. Almost sorry I told you now. Don't ever let it be known I was the one who informed you. Don't get me mixed up in it. Get up there. Get up.
First him brave to come here, and him run like rabbit. We go after him, huh?
No, Tonto.
But Kimosabe...
Don't let him go. I'm sure you're telling the truth about one thing.
What that?
There will be trouble at the Wilkins place. We'll have to go there. Come along. I want to talk to Judge Davis.
Get him up, Scout.
Come on, Silver.
When the Lone Ranger and Tonto returned to the camp, the masked man spoke hastily to Judge Davis, telling what he had heard. And when he was finished...
Well, that makes sense, mister. It stands to reason they'd try to get Lem Wilkins. Not that I blame him much either. If we leave now, we can get to his place a little before sundown, and you can talk with Wilkins.
Braden, I thought you said she wasn't coming out here to my place. I don't want folks to know it was you urged me to cut off the water.
Shut up and listen, Wilkins. It's too late for you to get chicken-hearted.
What do you want me to do?
That's better. Wilkins, I fixed things so you'll have company pretty soon.
Huh?
Yeah, Judge Davis. And that masked man and his engine part.
The masked man? Thunderation, Braden. If the mob hears about that, they'll surround my place. They've been itching to get the masked man since last night.
Now, don't you worry none.
That's easy to say.
And easy to do. Because the only ones who know they're coming outside of themselves is you and me. Now, you don't think I'd tell the men, do you?
Well, I don't know.
Of course I wouldn't.
I want you alive, don't you see?
Yeah, I reckon so.
Well, that's more like it.
Braden! Now, who's that?
Easy, Wilkins. It's just Red.
Oh, boy. Oh, there. Braden, they're coming.
Masked man?
Yeah, him and the Injun and Davis. I saw him from the hilltop.
Keno, Red. Now, you just act natural, Wilkins, and don't worry about a thing, you savvy?
You mean you'll take care of him for me?
That's the idea. Now, Red and me better slope off. Wouldn't do for him to see us, would it? Come on, Red.
Adios, Wilkins.
I'm one smart hombre, Red.
Yeah,
It's turning dusk already. They ought to be inside Wilkins' house in another half hour or so.
just about.
Yeah. You know what I told Wilkins?
What?
Pull up a little, Red.
Steady, boy.
Steady. I told him it'd be all right. He was sort of worried that mob might show up and do him some harm.
But, Braden, that's just what is going to happen.
No.
Yeah. Didn't you send Spur Cadden to spread the word that Judge Davis was calling on Wilkins tonight with the masked man?
Did I?
And that mob will be boiling mad. Spur will see to that. They'll be whooping and hollering and grabbing their chance to tar and feather the judge and Wilkins both, and maybe the masked man. You sent Spur yourself.
Well, so it did. But you know, Red, I don't think they'll get tarred and feathered.
You're loco. That mob will grab them quick.
No sense of tarring and feathering dead men, Red.
Dead men? Braden,
When that mob gets milling around, a couple of shots might just happen to be fired. Shots that would kill Davis and the masked man and maybe Wilkins.
Oh, nobody be that ornery. Who'd do it?
We've got guns, haven't we, Red?
Now, Wilkins, we came here because we learned that you may get what Judge Davis almost got last night.
You mean...
I mean tar and feathers.
They're coming here, but they can't. Braden told me that...
Go ahead. Braden told you what?
Nothing.
You needn't explain. So it was Braden who urged you into shutting off the water, wasn't it? Well, wasn't it?
Mister, Judge Davis, you got to save me from the mob. Maybe they won't stop at tar and feathers. Maybe they'll hold a lynching bee. Oh, I'll do anything. I'll give them all the water they want. Injun, what'd you do that for? Why'd you blow out the lamp? It's dark in here.
Kimasabi, Tonto, listen while you talk. Tonto, here. Now you listen.
I've already heard them, Tonto.
I don't hear nothing. What are you talking?
Sounds like horses.
Davis, it's the men. It's the men. They're closing in on us. It's the mob. You got to save me.
I'm glad the masked man sent Hannah back to town.
The masked man. That's it. You can save us, masked man. You can save me. Take care of me. Masked man. Masked man. Injun. Masked man. Davis. They're gone. They slid out in the dark. They're gone, and it's too late for us. They left us here at the mercy of the mob.
As the crowd poured into Wilkins' cabin, skillfully egged on by Spur Cadden, Brader and Red crouched on the top of the nearby hill, watching the torch-lit scene, their rifles slanted across their knees.
You see that, Red? I tell you, there's nobody like Spur to whip up a mob. They're boiling mad.
We can see easy in the torchlight, Braden. They busted the door right in.
Yeah, now they're dragging him out. Didn't even have a fight about it. There's Wilkins.
He looks scared green.
And there's Judge Davis.
Uh-huh.
Get ready with your gun. As soon as the masked man on the engine gets yanked out, let them have it and... What the...
Braden, there's something wrong. They're all out of the cabin. Count them. They're all out.
Yeah, but they can't be. What happened to the engine and the masked man?
I don't know. They must have got out in the dark before...
Red, you fool. They must have got suspicious. What'd you tell them?
Don't blame me. Don't make
I oughta. Well, never mind. No use crying over spoiled plans. But while we're here, we'll make the best of it. At least we can finish off Judge Davis. Lift your gun. Draw a bead right on his heart. And when I give the word, pull the trigger.
Keno, he's a nice, clear target.
Shut up and aim. And make doggone sure we don't miss. This'll be as easy
Now,
as...
Tonto, get him!
Get him out, Scout!
Ride them down, Silver!
Braden, the masked man!
Him got guns.
Look out for that stallion!
Drop those guns!
The suddenness and speed of the Lone Ranger's attack completely surprised the bad men. As Silver reared high over Braden, the masked man's bullet sent the rifles flying, while Tonto hurtled off Scout's back to send Red sprawling on the ground. In less than 30 seconds, the outlaws were through.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot me! It's Braden. He planned this. I didn't know he meant murder.
You got us. What are you going to do? Get on your horses and ride in front of us. Head down the slope. We're breaking up that mob.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto rushed their prisoners right into the center of the crowd, and in a few minutes the tempers of the men cooled as the masked man explained who had led them on.
That's the answer to this whole setup. You're honest men, but you let Braden and Spur Cadden make fools out of you. All they cared about was getting rid of law and order in Santos so they could take over. Well, are you letting them get away with it?
Masked man, I think I can speak for everyone once again the way I used to. You saved my life, and you save the self-respect of the men of Santos.
Well, it looks to me like Lem Wilkins has had a change of heart, too.
Yes, ma'am, I sure have. Gents, I've been misguided like all of you. I'm telling you right here and now that law or no law, the water won't be dammed up. It's free for all of you.
We ought to string those rattlesnakes up. No violence now. I'm still judge of this county. I still believe in law and order. We'll give him a fair trial. And the Lone Ranger's the man who's brought him to trial.
The Lone Ranger? Davis, you mean to say that masked man was the Lone Ranger? Well, I'll be a cactus-tailed coyote. Why didn't somebody tell me?
Kimosabe, we plenty far from Santos now. We stop. Tonto got something to show you.
A letter, Tonto? Where did you get that?
Mrs. Davis give me letter back near Wilkins' cabin. She say it from girl.
The girl? Our mysterious friend?
Uh-huh.
Sealed. Better open it and find out what she
No,
has.
you don't, mister. I'm holding a gun on you. Drop that letter, take the consequences.
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.